There is no charm equal to tenderness of heart. If I loved you less, I might be able to talk about it more. You must be the best judge of your own happiness. The very first moment I beheld him, my heart was irrevocably gone. Her heart did whisper that he had done it for her. There are as many forms of love as there are moments in time. It is very often nothing but our own vanity that deceives us. To be fond of dancing was a certain step towards falling in love. Then I examined my own heart. And there you were. Never, I fear, to be removed. Perhaps it is our imperfections that make us so perfect for one another. To you I shall say, as I have often said before, do not be in a hurry, the right man will come at last. I lay it down as a general rule, Harriet, that if a woman doubts as to whether she should accept a man or not, she certainly ought to refuse him. I do not want people to be very agreeable, as it saves me the trouble of liking them a great deal. We have all a better guide in ourselves, if we would attend to it, than any other person can be. In vain have I struggled. It will not do. My feelings will not be repressed. You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you. One man's ways may be as good as another's, but we all like our own best. I wish, as well as everybody else, to be perfectly happy, but, like everybody else, it must be in my own way. A mind lively and at ease can do with seeing nothing, and can see nothing that does not answer. Oh! Do not attack me with your watch. A watch is always too fast or too slow. I cannot be dictated to by a watch. Vanity and pride are different things, though the words are often used synonymously. A person may be proud without being vain. Pride relates more to our opinion of ourselves, vanity, to what we would have others think of us. Life seems but a quick succession of busy nothings. There is a stubbornness about me that never can bear to be frightened at the will of others. My courage always rises at every attempt to intimidate me. I always deserve the best treatment because I never put up with any other. Think only of the past as its remembrance gives you pleasure. Selfishness must always be forgiven, you know, because there is no hope of a cure. I could easily forgive his pride, if he had not mortified mine. I must learn to be content with being happier than I deserve. I may have lost my heart, but not my self-control. Know your own happiness. Want for nothing but patience, or give it a more fascinating name, call it hope. Friendship is certainly the finest balm for the pangs of disappointed love. My idea of good company is the company of clever, well-informed people who have a great deal of conversation. That is what I call good company. There is nothing I would not do for those who are really my friends. I have no notion of loving people by halves, it is not my nature. But for my own part, if a book is well written, I always find it too short. I have been used to consider poetry as the food of love. A person, who can write a long letter with ease, cannot write ill. I shall be miserable if I have not an excellent library. None of us want to be in calm waters all our lives. Surprises are foolish things. The pleasure is not enhanced, and the inconvenience is often considerable. Nobody minds having what is too good for them. A large income is the best recipe for happiness I ever heard of. Those who do not complain are never pitied. There are people who, the more you do for them, the less they will do for themselves. Seldom, very seldom, does complete truth belong to any human disclosure. Seldom can it happen that something is not a little disguised or a little mistaken. The person, be it gentleman or lady, who has not pleasure in a good novel, must be intolerably stupid. I declare, after all, there is no enjoyment like reading. How much sooner one tires of anything than of a book. When I have a house of my own, I shall be miserable if I have not an excellent library. A lady's imagination is very rapid, it jumps from admiration to love, from love to matrimony in a moment. The more I know of the world, the more I am convinced that I shall never see a man whom I can really love. I require so much. It is a truth universally acknowledged, that a single man in possession of a good fortune, must be in want of a wife. I cannot fix on the hour, or the spot, or the look or the words, which laid the foundation. It is too long ago. I was in the middle before I knew that I had begun. Angry people are not always wise. I hate to hear you talk about all women as if they were fine ladies instead of rational creatures. You pierce my soul. I am half agony, half hope. I have loved none but you. What are men to rocks and mountains? There is not one in 100 of either sex who is not taken in when they marry. There is safety in reserve, but no attraction. One cannot love a reserved person. It is very difficult for the prosperous to be humble. We do not look in our great cities for our best morality. I do not want people to be very agreeable, as it saves me the trouble of liking them a great deal. Good-humored, unaffected girls will not do for a man who has been used to sensible women. They are two distinct orders of being. No man is offended by another man's admiration of the woman he loves. It is the woman only who can make it a torment. I cannot speak well enough to be unintelligible. Where an opinion is general, it is usually correct. There is something so amiable in the prejudices of a young mind, that one is sorry to see them give way to the reception of more general opinions. One cannot be always laughing at a man without now and then stumbling on something witty. I am afraid that the pleasantness of an employment does not always evince its propriety. Husbands and wives generally understand when opposition will be vain. I could not sit down to write a serious romance under any other motive than to save my life. How quick come the reasons for approving what we like. I hate to hear you talk about all women as if they were fine ladies instead of rational creatures. None of us want to be in calm waters all our lives. Ah! There is nothing like staying at home, for real comfort. I must learn to be content with being happier than I deserve. The distance is nothing when one has a motive. If I could but know his heart, everything would become easy. We all know him to be a proud, unpleasant sort of man, but this would be nothing if you really liked him. Nothing ever fatigues me, but doing what I do not like. A woman, especially if she have the misfortune of knowing anything, should conceal it as well as she can. Which of all my important nothings shall I tell you first? Let us never underestimate the power of a well-written letter. Time will explain.